So robots are tools used for humans to explore, and that's why we don't think they should be the significant focus of space exploration. It should be humans. And now our opponents in the negative have said that the ultimate goal is to improve life on Earth. And we like to say no, the ultimate goal is to improve life for humans, whether that be on Earth, whether that be in space. Does it really matter where we are as long as we're improving life for humanity? And so the first thing they bring up is the high cost and low efficiency, as they'd like to say. So to talk about costs a little bit, Sergei Yazov, a senior fellow at the Institute of Solar Terrestrial Physics of the Russian Academy of Sciences, also views manned missions as economically beneficial due to their inspirational value. He says that even the tangential benefits of space exploration programs would outweigh the positive effects of Russia's investment in the 2014 Olympics and the 2018 World Cup. Reports from this could be more exciting than reports from those gains, and continuing manned space flights will result in the creation of new jobs, lead to advancements in technology, nuclear energy, the development of new materials, life support systems, communications, and environmental protection. There obviously are economic advantages to sending humans into space, because robotic missions do not have that same sort of inspirational value as human missions do. They do not inspire the public to take action in the same way that a manned mission does. Furthermore, along with costs, human missions will become more efficient and get better and be more cost-effective, whereas robotic missions will actually do the opposite. They will get more expensive. According to the Atlantic magazine, it says one of the things that make them cheap, that being robots, is miniaturization. You can make robots more intelligent and efficient to a certain point, but they won't get smaller and therefore cheaper. With miniaturization comes a depletion in the number of scientific instruments a probe can carry, the number of samples it can collect, and its ability to cover more ground. So you either have to sacrifice its capability to do research in space, to do science, by making them smaller, or it will cost more to have a larger piece of equipment to send up into space. Either way, there are going to be more problems and more problems associated with cost when you send robots into space if you try to replicate human qualities in them. We should be just sending humans in the first place. Yeah. One more reason for this is because humans bring more things back. This goes to their point about efficiency, about human efficiency of doing research in space. According to The Atlantic, the downside of a shift towards robotic exploration is the decline of samples, the real meat of the planetary sciences. Robotic expeditions have always been one-way trips. The probes go, land, take readings, and don't come back. But the collection and prolonged study of planetary samples are real drivers of scientific knowledge, which is measured in terms of published scientific literature. And published scientific literature about manned missions, even though they have not gone on in decades, is increasing at a much greater rate, as my partner stated, than the ones of more recent robotic missions. And the disparity between manned and robotic missions is striking. According to article published in the Solar System, it says the Apollo astronauts collected and returned 382 kilograms of samples from more than 2,000 different sampling locations, while the Luna sample return mission returned only 0.32 kilograms of moon rocks, a third of a kilogram compared to almost 400 kilograms. The next point our opponents talk about is inspiration, and the inspirational value that they say could also be effective in robotic missions. But that's simply not true, because according to the Scientific American in an article published in April 2012, this month of this year, it talks about how private investment companies are trying to send people into space. They're getting prizes for it. In 2004, Spaceship One became the first privately manufactured manned vehicle to leave the atmosphere because they were offered a $10 million prize. And the way these companies raise money for creating these privately funded rocket ships into space is by donations from people. Virgin Galactic received more than $60 million in deposits from individuals who are willing to pay $200,000 each for the chance to float in microgravity and see Earth from a distance. People want to go to space, they're inspired by it, and they're willing to invest a lot of money and effort to go to space. And that's simply not true with robots. Our opponents also bring up evidence about the Hubble telescope and how that can take photographs and inspire people as well. But the Hubble telescope had to be fixed by humans, as you know. And so ultimately, we still need humans to be going to space, and it should be the significant focus of this debate. Furthermore, our opponents talked about how space missions do not foster friendly cooperations, or if human missions do, it can be just as well done with robotic missions. But that's not true because you don't have the same investment. When you send a piece of metal into space, when you send a coffee can-sized probe into space, you're not invested in it. When you have a person who has a family, who has friends back at home, you are invested in that and you want them to succeed, and they will cooperate with the other astronauts in space.